Hello there, thank you for joining us for today's edition of Citi News Daily on Citi TV with me, Zoe Baidoo. In this edition, Major Maxwell Mahama laid to rest today in Accra. You have the details of this and many more coming up shortly. The final funeral rites of the late Major Maxwell Mahama was held today at a solemn ceremony in Accra at the forecourt of the State House. Vice President Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia and former Presidents Kufuor and Mahama were at the ceremony to pay their last respect to the fallen soldier. A high-powered delegation, including the Chief of Staff and Ministers of State, as well as members of Parliament, led by the Speaker Michael Quay, were also present at the ceremony. Here is a report of proceedings at the funeral by Citi News Daily Felicia Osei.
The State House was decorated with black and red today as the final funeral rite of the slain soldier was held. Nearly 2 weeks after his death, the nation gathered to bid him farewell. The Vice President, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, former Presidents John Agyekum Kufuor and John Dramani Mahama were all in attendance. Also present were members of Parliament, government officials, his colleagues in the barracks, former schoolmates, friends, and the general public. Around 5:30 a.m. today, people started filing past his closed casket, covered with the red, gold, and green flag of Ghana. The tribute eventually started pouring in for the late Major Maxwell Mahama. His mother's tribute was read by a relative. It was followed by his father, who stepped out to read his last words to his son. He broke down into tears after a couple of paragraphs, and someone else took over. And then came the emotional farewell from the Major's wife, Barbara Mahama.
Away from that, we move to the Volta region, and the minister, Dr. Archibald Lecture, says he is confident government's acquisition of the disputed Nkonya-Alavanyo lands will reduce the tension between the two towns. The Defence Minister, Dominic Nituo, yesterday announced the government's intention to compulsorily take over the property, which has for decades triggered bloodshed. In a Citi News Daily interview, Dr. Lecture opined that the latest move is key to achieving sustained peace in Nkonya and Alavanyo. Mr. Lecture also added that RECSEC is in talks with the Volta Regional House of Chiefs to rescind its earlier decision to indefinitely suspend the paramount chiefs and queen mothers of Nkonya and Alavanyo over the failure to address the recurring conflict between the two towns. And now the minority spokesperson on constitutional, parliamentary and legal affairs, Inusa Fuseni, has described as a national embarrassment the Chinese ambassador's donation of 10,000 Ghana cedis to the Attorney General's office. The gesture to support the AG's office has raised some eyebrows, especially as some Chinese nationals are standing trial for engaging in illegal mining. Now, the Ghana Integrity Initiative, GII, also raised questions about the gesture and suggested it could be subtle diplomatic pressure for the AG to treat the arrested Chinese nationals with kid gloves. Now, speaking in an interview with Citi News Daily, the Tamale Central MP further described the gift as an insult to Ghanaians. Now let's move to the education sector because the Basic Education Certificate Examination (BECE) ended today with over 460,000 candidates taking part in the junior high school leavers examinations. The 5-day examination conducted by the West African Examination Council (WAEC) gives basic school students their very first experience of external assessment and determines the chances for higher academic pursuits. Speaking to Citi News Daily, Public Relations Officer for Ghana Education Service, Jonathan Bete, said the exercise was incident-free as no examination malpractice was recorded. That is how we end this week's edition of Citi News Daily on Citi TV with me, Zoe Baidoo. Thanks for your time.
Second Image International admissions in progress. Courses available include hairdressing, beauty therapy and fashion. Call us 10243 331 999. Evening and weekend classes are also available.